Hey, what's up, my friends? Jason Woodland here, back again with Always the Journey TV. Today we are on episode number 33. Rocking and rolling, talking to all kinds of amazing people out here in the community. Again, the objective of this show, Always the Journey TV, is to spotlight people in the community who are ultra passionate about what they're doing for their businesses, their jobs, their artwork, their side hustles, their event space, and everything in between. I love passionate people, and I love talking to them and learning about what they're doing in their life and what they're trying to build within the community. So today's small business shout out is to two very dear friends, Dennis and Creighton at the Clever Bean Coffee Shop located out in Draper. Their shop is still currently on pause right now, but you can find them and all of their awesome products at thecleverbean.com. So definitely hit them up on their website. And of course, you can follow them on all social media platforms across the board, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm pretty sure they're even on Pinterest. So check them out. So today I'm ultra excited about talking to a very dear friend who's got a really interesting background that I think you're really going to enjoy. And most of you have actually seen him in action if you've ever been or watched a jazz game, a Utah Jazz game, that is. So today is my very dear friend, Matt Griff. Griff, as he's commonly known, loves Utah, Salt Lake, and his community. Working in title insurance since 2005, he's learned the ins and outs of every real estate transaction and wants to work on every single one of them. He loves coffee and always makes time for an early appointment to find out what others love to be creative with. He's an athlete, a different kind of athlete. He falls down and crashes well. Working on television and films locally in Utah as a stuntman since 2004, he's found himself in over 30 productions, with his claim to fame being, "I've either died or lost every fight I've been in." That's so hilarious. Griff is also a founder and manager of the Utah Jazz dunk team, where for the past 2 decades has been flip dunking at jazz games and giving high fives to kids while doing events and assemblies at schools throughout Utah. He was part of the U.S. skeleton team. Now retired, he coaches anyone sliding the track at the Utah Olympic Park in Park City, Utah. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce my dear friend, Matt Griff. What's up, my man?
Hey, good morning, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing unbelievable. How are you doing?
That's great. I'm doing so good. That bio sounds like I wrote it. My goodness.
You're awesome, dude. And by the way, I love your hat, man.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I know, man. Dunk team logo. I know. It is the silhouette is of a photo of me, but we made some changes. We added a foot and then we flipped it around. So anyway, I'm just finishing my Clever Bean coffee this morning too. That's just where I always get my coffee. So love those guys, Dennis and Creighton. They're just 2 dudes that you can just have an hour-long conversation with at the drop of a hat. It's great.
Yes, I completely agree. Can't wait until the world gets back to normal, right?
I know, right.
So Griff, I want to learn, and I've had the thankful opportunity to be able to learn a lot about you throughout the years now, but I want to have my viewers really get a granular understanding of who you are, some of your past, and what transitioned over into the title insurance realm. So first of all, let's talk about the Utah Jazz dunk team. You're a flip dunker. I guess that's the terminology. I mean, you've been on, what's that show? Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done some really amazing things. So first of all, what got you involved in the Utah Jazz dunk team all to begin with? What did that look like?
You know, interestingly enough, all the things that I kind of do creative wise, kind of all stemmed from this one day that I showed up to watch a friend of mine try out for their stunt team, which is like cheerleaders and stuff. Mm-hmm. And sitting there just kind of watching this thing go on for a couple of hours for whatever reason. I don't even know why I went. I mean, I was like probably hungover and just watching this thing happen. But near the end, they started rolling in some trampolines and mats. And I just, for whatever reason, decided it would be a good time for me to go and ask somebody, like, if I can try. And which is not how I operated at all throughout my 20s. You know, I just kind of was slowly just getting deeper and deeper into this hole of just like, okay, this is who you are and this is what you do. But for whatever reason, I went and asked and if I could give it a shot, and they just said, sign a waiver. And I say all the time, I mean, that's something that I've got a short version and a long version, and that's kind of the middle version, but something that I say at assemblies and things like that. That day changed my life forever. That was the first time I knew that I was good at something before my mom could go, oh, Matthew, you're so good at this. And before I had friends that would just encourage me, because that was kind of the thing to do. And I, believed my friends that would encourage me and say that I was good at stuff. But, I just kind of felt like it was the thing to do. But man, that first time I ever did that, I knew that I was good at that. And so I just started to handle myself different. I kind of learned to smile different. Mm-hmm. Whenever I was not dunking or having the opportunity to do that, I was thinking about it, and it just consumed me. And it was just something that really just took off, and I had no idea. And of course, I'm obsessed with the things that I'm involved with and the things around me. And so it just turned into an obsession. And God, here I am, man. I can still do a flip dunk. I haven't hit a tramp since February. It's the longest of my career, which is okay. But, like I'm texting the guys all the time. And at the drop of a hat, we could all just show up at a park and just set up a mat and a tramp and I'll do a flip dunk. It's something that we've just grown accustomed to. And I hope to be able to do that stuff again.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to work with the Jazz and still do Jazz games from time to time. Although I like being able to kind of defer to some of the newer guys and let them work those Jazz games, which are like just 5 hours of just kind of hanging out, hurry up and wait, go out there. And then you get your 90 seconds and then hurry up and get off. And they're cool. But, I've told the Jazz organization that I just want to be able to make sure that I have the ability to do community events and assemblies for the next decade.
That is awesome. So when you said that the first chance you had to jump on a trampoline, was that experience jumping on a trampoline and doing a slam dunk?
Yes.
Or, okay, so that was like the very first experience.
Oh yeah.
And you hit it like right out of the gates, right?
Yeah. I was a gymnast growing up, so I knew how to like run and then hurdle and approach and hit a trampoline. And I'd always seen videos and halftime shows from the 80s of the Bud Light Daredevils. And I always wanted to do that. And I'd see mascots dunking and things like that. And I always thought it was kind of cool. And so, yeah, that moment that I had the opportunity, that's a big word, opportunity. The moment that I had the opportunity to do that for the first time, man, that was crazy that I took the opportunity. So that was a big thing for me that day. And for whatever reason, I was incredibly fit from rugby. So I knew how to, I was really fast, and I knew how to hit the mini tramp, and I knew how to be able to get some height off of there. And man, that was just. And
that sealed it.
That's it. Yeah. They only took 8 guys, and I'm there in street clothes. And so they said, well, we got to take this guy. Let's just keep him as an alternate. He wasn't registered. He didn't sign up to do this thing. He was just some kid on the street here for something completely different, but we'll take him. And the old Jazz Bear, John Absey, who is a very dear friend of mine. So is the new Jazz Bear.
Wonderful person.
Love them both very much. But yeah, Jason, him. That was like an introduction that I had to make. I had to make sure that you met John Absey. Like he was there, one of the judges, and he just called me the Bubble Boy. And he's like, what do we do with you? We don't know what to do. Like, we'll just take you. But yeah, I worked out well. It was great.
Oh, that is awesome. So, and also just to touch a little bit on the stuntman work. Yeah. So, you say that you have died and you've lost every fight. Yeah. So, your job is to fall and to run and to crash into things. And tell me just a little bit about that, just so we get a deeper understanding.
Yeah. So to continue on with the dunk stuff, once I knew that I was enjoying this and I was good at it, I kind of sought out some other dunk teams. And at the time there were 2 professional dunk teams. Bud Light Daredevils, they left their sponsorship. And so they turned into the Extreme team. And I had a buddy that was a mascot that got onto the Extreme team. And he came back to Salt Lake at the end of the season. I was like, dude, I want to do this. And so few months later, he gives me a call one day and he just says, "Hey, dude, I got to know right now. Can you go to China for 2 months and do a show?" And so I said, okay. And I quit my job, which my boss at the time was like, "I knew you were going to be doing more of this stuff once you started doing that dunk thing." Well, anyway, I go to China, and who I go to China with are some guys that were like aspiring stuntmen, and they were getting into the world. And they're like, "Griff, this is how you do it. You just got to go and find a set. And you just kind of hustle the set and ask who the stunt coordinator is, and then just get in front of them and tell them who you are and what you do. And then maybe they'll give you a call." And so they did. But for the most part, I'm a double. Usually I try to, they're like, "Oh, okay, great. You're 5'10", 175. You look like this actor with brown hair. Don't shave and don't, cut your hair until the day and until the set, does that for you. So hopefully they can match me as best as they can." But usually I just match somebody else. And then they're like, "Okay, all right. He falls downstairs." Okay.
Wow.
I know. Weird.
So I've always wondered what a tryout would look like for a stuntman. So you just roll up on the scene and they say, "Fall down those stairs," and you're like, "Okay, let's roll."
Yeah. I mean, it's like that. They kind of have an idea of what the stunt is that they let you know a few days in advance. And especially when you're cast, they say, "Hey, here's the gag." So it's something that you can kind of prepare for. And I think that's kind of why, you generally know how to fall down, is you just have an idea of like, okay, well, here's the set. Now I can get there and I can actually see what's going to happen. I can see that they're going to pull me into this wall. They're going to push me down these stairs. I basically have to trip and fall down. A lot of it is just stuff that, people just don't want to do, and they don't want to have an actor do it. Because the last thing you want to do, honestly, is like have an actor that gets hurt and then they got to deal with that. And so they just, make some dude look like them and then just say fall down. And so, and then they do it over and over and over.
So your kid's in the other room practicing the piano and you're practicing falling down the stairs. And your wife's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just practicing for my work."
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Practicing for my work. Generally, I just show up and I'm like, "Okay, I got my pads." And then I've told like some people that I've helped kind of get into it too. I mean, listen, people have helped me get into all the stuff that I do.
Sure.
Without the assistance and the belief that somebody else just takes a deep breath and goes, "Okay, Griff, you're in." I don't know where I'd be, but I still have to do that too. I still have to show up, and then I still have to just kind of like take a deep breath and just know like how this is going to happen. And in those cases, generally, if I can really just feel confident about it, it's okay. Sometimes get banged up a little bit. I'm not some stuntman that is trying to get to Hollywood because I have like these special skills. For the most part, I show up on time. I try to just be someone who is cool to interact with and helpful. I don't ask a lot of questions. And as soon as they go, "All right, stunt double," I just try to be there and I just try to do the best I can. And if they need me to do it a dozen times, then I do it. But staying connected with all the stunt coordinators in Utah, that's kind of just helped me grow. And now they know that they can just call me. They know that I can jump on a mini tramp. They know that I can fall down. There you go.
That is awesome. Yeah. So just to retract back just a tiny bit, because I think it's so fascinating. First of all, do you remember off the top of your head which episode and season you were on Undercover Boss with Utah Jazz?
I don't.
I meant to get that information.
Yeah. But I'll try to find out. Text it to you if you want. Yeah. But I mean, you can just literally search Undercover Boss Utah Jazz episode, and then there I am with a different hairstyle.
Yeah, exactly. So when you were doing, I'm knowing that actually you didn't really know that you were going to be on this show. How did you feel about being on a network television from coast to coast after it came out? Like, what were your initial thoughts on that?
It's crazy. I knew that something special was happening. I mean, we all did with how the production was leading up to it. My wife just brought it up right here. Let's see. Season 5.
Thank you.
Yeah, season 5, episode 13. You're amazing. But we knew that they said it was going to be on network television. And it was basically the same type of thing that they were selling to us. that Undercover Boss was, the same general kind of storyline, but they called it something else. I can't even remember what they called it. And then the night of, when we met the contestant, who was Greg Miller, we could just tell that something was up, because you can only make a beard look so fake. But it all happened so fast. And I mean, none of us really had any idea of what was going on. And I'd known who Greg Miller was, but it's not like I put the 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
But, and then boom, we did our thing with him, and then he was gone, and we did the reveal the next day. But man, dude, it was hard on me, because, they had a psychiatrist after the episode, and I don't think I've ever disclosed any of this stuff, but, and they're like, oh yeah, we just got to talk to every single contestant that has some reward, to just make sure that they're okay with it. And, holy cow, dude, I broke down and cried. It wasn't this thing that I was really prepared for, where all of a sudden they're going to give something to my kids, and they were going to give something to the dunk team. And I just felt this huge responsibility. And I felt people thought I was fake, and I've always had this little bit of imposter syndrome, it's a real thing. So it was pretty tough. But I mean, dude, here are my kids, now they're old enough that they're using that scholarship. And I mean, that propelled the dunk team basically into kind of what it is today. The Jazz knew that they had something pretty special with the dunk team. And I think that once it was kind of brought to light, they're just just don't mess it up, And so that's where the guys on the dunk team, any of them could have this same conversation with you, Jason, and it would be just as awesome, because they all handle themselves. They're all good, human beings. And I mean, we all just respect and love each other. And so that whole Undercover Boss thing was basically just this cool thing about the dunk team. And
wow,
of course I got to talk, because I never shut up.
Dude, you're awesome. And, and also just a special shout out to the Utah Jazz dunk team anyway. I mean, you guys are all just an amazing, cohesive group of wildly talented professionals. And every single time anybody sees you guys doing that, the dunks and the jump dunks and all that. I mean, it's just unbelievable how you guys can, correspond that way. I mean, great work.
Yeah. Thanks, man. It's pretty weird. We have a great Mean Tweets episode out as well too, because we just love those.
Those are hilarious.
So, yeah,
and
there's a little podcast
at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Mean Tweets are just great. I mean, everybody just loves to just go and see the haters. So we put a little podcast together, just the years of just the collection of the brilliant Mean Tweets that I would come home and I'd be like, all right, honey, search for them. And man, she would just love to just see those Mean Tweets of just some brilliant creative things people would say. So
that's amazing, dude. Okay, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
I think you've talked to me a little bit about that before, but man, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got you as a crazily talented stuntman. We've got you as a dunk professional on the Utah Jazz dunk team, and then we move into title insurance. What was your inspiration to? Obviously, it's not a transition because you're still doing all those things, which is really awesome. But what was your inspiration to add that as part of your overall professional repertoire?
First of all, my profession, being an escrow officer with title insurance, is I love what I do. I basically just get to hang out and interact with people. So that time that I went to China, right? So I got that call, boom. A month later, never been out of the country. I got to get a passport. I got to get stuff together so I can go to China and live there for 2 months and do these 2 shows 6 days a week for the next 2 months. And then I come back and I don't have a job. And the other dunk team that sent me over there were like, yeah, come on tour with us. And so I had this month where I didn't have anything to do. And, I got child support and I got insurance and I got to pay rent and things like that. And the owner of the title company, his name's Robert Lopez. He's like my mentor. He's like my older brother. He's like my older brother, other than my older brother, who I do have. He was like, listen, man, I need a runner, somebody that can just run around documents. Just come and be the runner. And that's kind of how it started. But I was just, going through this cool time in my life where I would feel cool about myself and I would feel good about myself. And so I could walk into a building, and not that people, it's really weird. I mean, you kind of just have, you can kind of learn a fake charisma or whatever. But, I'd walk in and I'd have a good smile on my face and I'd just kind of be enjoying the moment. And I think it's more about, if you're in a good mood, it just, you can just walk in somewhere with an aura around you because you're just someone that's in a good mood and you just feel good about yourself. And starting to interact with some of these people that I'm dropping off commission checks to, and people love money. So dropping off documents that either people need, or I'm dropping off commission checks of money that people use. And I just really learned how to start to value relationships then, and starting to network, and people that I would be dropping checks off to over the next few years, because I kind of did that for the next couple of years. Whenever I was home and I'm not on tour doing shows, I would be the runner. And it would get to the point where, like, I'm starting to get some of these people that would recognize me at jazz games. And there was a turning point where there was a loan officer, someone who does mortgages. They were walking off the court just as we were about to go on, or excuse me, no, they were walking back onto the court just as we were walking off. And he was just like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that you're like the same guy that was like delivering those documents earlier. And I like took off my wristband, gave my wristband to his son. And like, from then on, I like have a good relationship with that guy, and I'm able to connect, and I'm able to like do work and stuff. And his son remembers me, and I give him high fives and stuff. And then I slowly just retired and transitioned from trying to hustle dunk shows at parks, like amusement parks. So yeah, let's go do an amusement park show for 3 weeks for $750 a week, doing 5 shows a day that are just miserable. Great. It's great when you're young and all that stuff. And I got a license to be able to be a marketer for title insurance. And that gave me the ability to not just go and deliver these things, but have relationships and then try to get them to send work. So when somebody's got a refinance, or when somebody's going to buy a house or sell a house, you need title insurance. That lender is not going to give you money unless you have an insurance policy that says, hey, these guys don't pay, and there's a bankruptcy or there's a default or a foreclosure, this lender is going to get paid first when everybody starts getting paid back. Or if you're going to sell a home, there's going to be an owner's policy that seller is going to provide to that new owner that says, hey, everything's free and clear, and this is a good transaction, and everything on this property is done. There's nothing else that's owed. All the people that are selling the home are the people that are correct in selling it. And then there's an insurance policy there. So I was able to start relationships with people that were buying and selling and helping others buy and sell and refinance. And then they just say, hey, Griff, I got a deal that I'm going to send your way. Then I decided that I was going to close those transactions. And that changed my career forever. And that was a few years ago when I said I'm going to start doing escrow and doing closings. Now I'm traveling to where people do these transactions. I mean, I love it when people come to my office so I don't have to travel, but when I can go to somebody's house or go to somebody else's work or whatever, then they really feel like they're getting, some good service. And I mean, Jason, let's face it, I'm not the smartest dude. I mean,
oh, come on.
I fall down for a living, but I will tell you this, man, you're always going to get the best Matt Griff ever. If I show up somewhere, you're always going to just get 100% good, fired up Matt Griff that probably drank too much coffee.
Dude, I can vouch for that, because you're definitely one of the most stand-up guys out there. You're a man of your word. You're a man to be on time. You put yourself into it. You put your heart and soul into anything and everything. And that's one of the many things that I love about you. So yeah, definitely shout out to you on that. That's really cool to learn about that. Not the transition per se, but the addition to everything that you're doing, and how you got involved in title. So tell us just a little bit more specifically about your business, how you run your business, and what title insurance is for people who are not familiar, because, I mean, of course I'm in certain lines of insurance and I'm pretty well versed in title, but your average person doesn't really understand what title insurance is and why it is absolutely and completely imperative, and that it is also a type of insurance that you pay one time for, and that's it. It's not a monthly fee for insurance. You pay one premium and then it's over. Tell us a little bit more about your business and some of those details.
Yeah. Well, my business is relationships, and I'll always say that first. If I don't show up on time, and if I'm not in a good mood and things like that, then people just won't send me deals anymore. People just don't want to work with anybody that's just kind of a pain in the butt to work with, that doesn't respond and communicate. So communication is just key. But basically, at this point now, people are coming to my office, or again, I'm going to somebody else, and I'm kind of explaining the closing. And so people know that term. They know the closing. It's like they're going to go under contract and they're going to buy this house, or they're listing this house and then they just get a contract from a buyer, and closing date is December 31st. Okay, so that's when they know that if they're selling a home, that's when they're going to close, and then they're going to get their proceeds, and then they'll be able to do whatever they're going to do with their proceeds. Maybe they're buying another house, or if you're going to buy a house, that's when that lender needs to be ready to close the transaction and send the title company the money so they can disperse everything per the instructions, because that's basically what a title company is doing, is we're following the instructions on the contract that is written, or we are following the instructions from a lender that provides us that for a refinance and for a purchase too. And so we get in there, and I just tried to explain, like, hey, yeah, you're buying a property for this amount, and then here is the loan amount that you're getting. Here are all the costs and fees associated with doing this purchase, like from the lender. Here's all the title fees, which includes that lender's policy that we're issuing to that lender, just stating that your loan is going to be in first position if there ever is a default in the foreclosure. Yeah. And then I explained their loan to them. Hey, look at that. You're getting a 30-year refinance, or you're getting a 30-year purchase. It's a fixed rate. It's a conventional loan. That loan amount of the $354,287 at a 2.875 interest rate. And then it says the principal and interest that they're paying over the next 30 years, because that's locked in. And then it also says, okay, well, the other thing that's going to make up your monthly payment is the estimated escrow. So taxes and insurance that you're paying each month. When you make your monthly payment, the lender collects for those things. And so they make the payment for the insurance and taxes because they don't trust us, and they want to make sure that they pay them on their own.
Yeah.
I try to explain the loan. I explain all those weird documents. You get 16 pages of a trust deed. I try to put that in my own terms and try to get somebody to just understand and feel comfortable with the setting and what's going on, because it's kind of intimidating being a first-time home buyer or a first-time home seller, and just kind of trusting this person in front of you to make sure that they perform and that this transaction closes. That's the biggest thing, is that your deal closes. Nobody wants to get to the table and then all of a sudden go, oh, whoops, we're not done. We're not ready. This thing has to close next week, or this is a dead deal. It's, there's a lot of things going on. That's why I always say use a real estate agent. Use a real estate agent. They do so much.
Yeah.
It helps me so much. I mean, for sale by owner, yeah. Like, dude, you're going to sell on your own, call me and I'll help you, but
yeah.
Real estate agent is really the people who kind of like put these things together. I work with really good real estate agents and loan officers, and without their help, I mean, let's face it, it is a tough transaction when people don't know what's going on and they're trying to do it on their own. It's really hard. It just makes things
there's a lot of blind spots there too, right? Would you say? I mean, without using people who are well versed in the industry, there's a lot of blind spots that you can either be taken advantage of, or you can lose a lot of money. It could be very problematic if you are not well versed in what you're doing. Yeah. And of course, there's a lot of amazing title agents out there, and I know you're definitely one of them without a doubt. I think it's important for people to realize too, is that usually when, they've got their realtor, and their realtor automatically has a connection to a mortgage broker or someone in mortgages, and automatically connects into a title officer. I think it's important to to my viewers to understand that they can choose who their title officer is, right? Under no circumstance are they obligated or tied in to have to use a title officer because they're realtor or their mortgage broker. Is that all correct?
That is very correct. Yes. And so, I've got buyers and sellers too that know me, but they have a relationship with a real estate agent or a lender that I don't know. And I mean, it's tough. Sometimes these agents are like, listen, man, I don't trust you. I don't work with you. And you better not mess this up. And I love to be able to say, listen, man, I'm always available. You can call, text, email, however you want to communicate. You can always just reach out to me. I'm going to make sure that by the end of this transaction, you're going to know that I'm somebody that you can always work with and feel comfortable to work with. And so, yeah, I want to make sure that I can work on every transaction. And so that includes the people who are buying and selling or doing a refinance and they haven't picked their loan officer or their real estate agent. Like, I want everybody to know what I do because I want to know what everybody else does. I want to sit down and hang out with everybody and have a cup of coffee and see what they have going on. It just so happens that I just like to nerd out about closing on real estate transactions. It's cool, And so when I can do a closing for a friend or for somebody that was like, I want to use Griff. Oh man, dude, I take that personal. That's awesome. I don't take it personal when somebody doesn't use me,
Yeah,
it's just how it is. I take it personal when they do.
I like that. That's really cool. And also just a disclaimer, although I'm part of the insurance and financial industry, I am not licensed in title. I personally do not do title. Do your own research. There's, like I said, some great people out there. And like I did mention that Griff is definitely a magnificent person who's well-versed and passionate about what he does.
Yeah.
So Griff, tell us a little bit more now about the geographic locations that you cover.
I can do a deal in Utah. If you're going to buy a place, if you're going to sell a place, if you're going to refinance that place in Utah, I can close on that transaction and I can issue those insurance policies.
Okay. So anywhere from Logan to St. George, Tooele to Park City, Heber, I mean, just all over the place, right?
Yep. I put a lot of miles on my car, which I'm not afraid to do. But if I've got somebody that's doing a real estate transaction and they happen to be closing in St. George, we have these things called mobile notaries that we can send out so those people can, get a notary that can actually be there when they sign and stamp that thing and then mail them back to us. I know that sometimes it can kind of be a pain in the butt, but listen, you're having to travel somewhere to get a notary. What does it matter if you're traveling to my office or if the convenience of having a notary travel to you? I'm still the one that's making sure that transaction is closing. And so that's kind of how I'm able to get some transactions all over the state. If I don't have an office in St. George at the moment, I can still do transactions in St. George. I'll just send somebody that I have a relationship with over to make sure that they get the signatures and explain everything to you. I can FaceTime with you and explain those documents to you. There just has to be a notary that's going to be able to do that signature and stamp it and put that stuff back in the mail to us.
Nice. So my next question is there such thing as a job that is, or a policy to issue that is too small or too big?
No, not too big, Jason. Come on, man. No, absolutely not. We can do commercial deals, and of hundreds of millions of dollars. That's a great transaction that I want to work on. I want to work on some of those big, huge ones, and sell buildings and massive, amounts of land. I've got a good, 4 acres that I'm selling, that I'm helping, on a transaction that I'm working on for some land in Lehigh. That's over $5 million. So that's cool. The small transactions, that is irrelevant. It's still something that we can search. It still means something to somebody. Yep. They're going to refinance for $80,000. Somebody's still got to do the work on it. It's all the same. I still get to hang out and meet somebody. It doesn't matter if it's small. It's awesome. Another deal that I get to do.
And I knew that was going to be your answer, but I just wanted to make sure that someone viewing this interview, they could realize, hey, you know what? Griff could potentially be my guy for this little tiny small deal, or if I had a $56 million commercial deal, that's something that you could also work on.
Of course. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Here's one more thing too, is,
Please.
I teach people how to shop for title insurance, which I'm sure you do a very good job at teaching people how to shop for life insurance and the things that you insure as well, because that's basically your job, is to kind of educate people on what's happening. So people that are for sale by owners, they call and they're like, oh, well, this other place is like, $50 cheaper. And I try to explain to them, I get it. You're trying to save $50 on your $500,000 transaction. And I understand, I get it. And saving $50 is saving $50. But when it comes down to it, the fact that I'm basically kind of hands-on with this transaction, and you're always going to be hearing from me, I'm going to be the one that's going to close this thing. I'll be able to do it when you need it, how you need it, in the location you need it. It's sometimes $50, like, I paid for my relationships, like the people that I have relationships with are the people that I do my deals with, because I know that they're going to answer the phone. I know that they're going to respond to a text. And to me, that's worth $50 on my $500,000 deal for sure.
Yeah.
I don't mind paying $2 more for my insurance policies every month, because this is somebody who I can communicate with, and we can refer people back and forth. Yeah. I'm not interested in just like, well, what's the cheapest, absolute cheapest, dirt cheap thing that I can get? Sometimes I buy things on Amazon too, Jason, and I try to find that thing where I can save $2 and I can put an hour into saving $2, but for the most part, I have to make the phone call, and I have to just trust that these people are going to show up and that they're going to be performing the way that they trust that I'm going to too. So yeah, like my relationships are the most important thing to me for when I buy things and sell.
Nice. That's really cool. So tell us now, we've already touched on it a little bit, but can we sort of deep dive on what makes a good referral for you? Like who is your ideal client, so to speak?
A very successful real estate agent, someone who, have you ever heard of the term where they're like 80% of the real estate agents do 20% of the work, and 20% of the real estate agents do? Yeah. Those workaholics like me that are doing 80% of the work, those are the people who I like to be connected with. I get, wanting to have a 9-to-5 job, I guess. But, these people that I know that they're out just like busting it, and they are trying to find deals, and they're trying to find buyers and sellers all day, every day. They need to communicate with the title insurance guy all day, every day too. And I like being that person, So high producing. It doesn't matter. Even if your brother's uncle sells real estate and he has his license and he does 2 deals a year, I still want to know him. I still want to have coffee with him. I still want to hang out. Same thing with lenders, right now is a very good time to refinance. Not sure if you've heard about that, how rates are, but, I want to have a relationship with all the lenders that are getting refinances that they need to direct to somebody who can help close their transaction. I hope that over the next 10 years, I'm just kind of known as somebody who can work on their deal. And I want to be able to work with those big real estate agents that don't want to work with me because they've already got a relationship with somebody like me that they direct all their stuff to. And that's awesome, because I'm sure that they're working with a real good escrow officer. I'd love to have them come over and work with me, but I love when I have the opportunity to work with somebody who I've never worked with before.
Nice.
That means a lot. So real estate agents, yeah, those guys are the golden geese,
Cool.
Loan officers, and anybody else that's going to buy and sell, they can always just go, yeah, call this guy Griff.
Nice. So for someone who is either just an individual that's looking for a title officer to transact on their individual deal, or that realtor, the mortgage broker, etc., what would you say is one or two of the best ways to get a hold of you?
Man, my phone number. You can text me. You can call me. There you go. Look, you already got it queued up. My email. You can always email me. I think you got that one queued up too. Jason, as you and I have talked about before, like communication is key. You know, I have people that reach out to me on Facebook Messenger or Instagram or Twitter. Like I answer all that stuff. You know, I mean, like your phone right here. I mean, that's you can get everything directed right to your phone. It doesn't matter if somebody's calling. I love it when I get a phone call of a number that I don't know yet, except for those people that are like, hello, is Matthew there? And they're trying to sell me like a whatever. But, you know, when somebody's calling me, that's right. Yeah. When somebody's calling me and they're asking about title insurance, I love to be the person that answers the phone and respond to a text, you know, reply to a message online. I'm always available.
Nice. Okay, cool. So as we move to a wrap up of this interview, I always like to ask, what is one of your, it doesn't have to be your favorite, but one of your favorite songs or favorite quotes or both?
You know, I love Tool and A Perfect Circle. Sometimes I just hear something on the radio that, or just on an advertisement thing that I just like buy, and I'm just into that song too. But gosh, I can't even think of the name of the Perfect Circle song that I just jam out to as loud as I can sometimes. Anyway, I'll think of it.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite quote off the top of your head?
Oh, man. No.
All good.
I'm sure there's been some cool stuff that Jesus has said, so I'll take some of that. Even though I'm not the most religious guy, but he just seemed like a really cool dude, someone that would want to just hang out and just like listen to me talk when I just had a cup of coffee. But
I love it.
I spend a lot of time looking at memes and just seeing cool things that just inspire me. You know, man, I just really love things that fire me up. And so, yeah, I just follow a lot of memes. Some of them make me laugh. Some of them upset me. And, but it's just something that makes me feel a certain way. And when somebody or something said can make me feel a certain way, I mean, that's pretty special. I don't mind being happy and being sad and, you know, being angry and being ecstatic every day. Like, you know, dude, maybe Jim Valvano said that, you know, he said, you know, if you can laugh and if you can cry and if you can be upset and if you can be happy every day, then that was a good day. And
that's cool.
So it's, that's something that I really try to do every day, which I seem to anyway. That's
really cool because it encompasses the entire sort of life experience, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can't be perfectly happy all the time or perfectly sad all the time. You've got to have a balance of everything to the best of our ability anyway, of course.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes a good case of the blues just helps you just see what good things are out there and helps with the gratitude and things like that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Nice, man. This has been really great. I sincerely appreciate you dedicating some time to being on the show today.
Yeah.
And, you know, sharing a bit of yourself and your business and what you do to work in and help the community. Like I said, you know, I mean, you're a stand-up guy. Absolutely love you to pieces. I think you're a huge asset to the community and love seeing what you're always doing out there. And for the viewers, you know, when things get back to normal, be sure to watch for him and his amazing team out there on the Utah Jazz court, dunking it up and flipping and doing all that kind of fun stuff. And also I, you know, wish you well in all of your title insurance endeavors as well.
Thanks, man. Love that. Listen, you know, my goal, I don't even know what, but, you know, giving high fives, and I know I haven't been able to give high fives, you know, and it's not like I've been able to connect with kids at schools and stuff over this past, you know, year, but it's coming back. And I know it's going to come back. And I know that it's going to get to the point where I can be able to just like make kids and everybody else feel cool about themselves. You know, whenever I can give a high five and just make some kid just be like, I'm not that important of a dude, but it's like, wow, somebody just made me feel important. And, you know, I love being able to do that stuff. So I hope that everybody listening, if I haven't given your kids or given you a high five, I hope that there's a time where I can, and it's going to be the best high five ever.
Oh, dude, I love that. That is so legit. Cool, brother. Well, again, thank you so much for being on the show. If you don't mind, I'm going to have you hang tight in the green room for just a few moments while I wrap this gavel up.
You got it,
as
Jason.
Dave Chappelle says.
That's right. Thanks so much, Jason.
Hey, you're welcome, bro. We'll talk to you in just a sec. So there you have it, my main man, Matt Griff. Definitely reach out to him, get to know him. He's an amazing person out there in the community and doing very good work in the title world. So anyway, thank you once again for joining us here on Always the Journey TV. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Throw us a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed the content. And if you have any questions, definitely throw them in the comment section. I'll answer to the best of my ability if I have the answer. And if I don't, Griff definitely will. But again, I'm your host, Jason Woodland. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I wish you all an amazing rest of your week. Have a wonderful day. Thanks.